Hey everyone, this is Crypto Clover here, and I'm going to share with you my insights from the Bangkok meeting and what is really going on with BitConnect. I'm going to reveal to you the truth about BitConnect at the top floor here at the tallest structure in Vietnam.
Okay, so I'm here at the Eon Helipad Bar up on the top floor here in Saigon, and wanted to share with you some of my insights with BitConnect. So at the meeting, it was obviously very informative. There was a lot of different topics that were being covered, and there was a lot of interesting questions from some of the people in the community, and wanted to share with you some of my thoughts. I needed to come out to Vietnam and understand a little bit more as to why we were seeing a little bit more success in the community over here. So the Vietnam community has been one of the pioneers with BitConnect. They've been in BitConnect the longest. There was several of the people that I've met were invested before the November 2016 timeframe. So they were in BitConnect before it officially launched in November. At that time, they were just investing into the platform. There wasn't a coin, there wasn't a blockchain. They were just investing into the technology. So I came to Vietnam wanting to see the offices, wanting to see more of the people that are involved, hear more of their success stories, and understand a little bit more as to how they were growing their network, how they were succeeding with BitConnect. I was privy to some very interesting information. The people in the community have benefited greatly. The average monthly salary for someone in Vietnam is roughly about $170 per month, so it's very, very low. And everyone in the community that I met, their annual income was over $100,000, and there was multiple millionaires within the group. All of that through BitConnect, and they were showing me their accounts, so I was able to see that this is real. And so what I'm going to do, I've been given permission to share with you a multi-million-dollar BitConnect account, and so I'm going to be doing that on my Instagram, my Facebook, and my Twitter. I'm going to be doing that here in the next little bit. So I've been convinced that this is not a Ponzi. This is not a pyramid. This is not some scheme to cash out. They're protecting themselves. So the reason BitConnect is being more secretive with the platform is the number one risk that they're running into is going to be from exposure. If they were to expose themselves, expose their software, expose their addresses, they're going to be more susceptible to risk of interference by governments or by other entities that are looking to steal their technology or perhaps find some way to shut them down. So BitConnect is an online company. They're going to continue to be an online company. They are not going to expose themselves to unnecessary risk. So a lot of these offices that you're seeing online are, if they are in fact real, they are not actually having a lot going on there. This is more of a community. It's an online company. They're going to be meeting in groups, Facebook groups, different ways of interacting online. They're not going to expose themselves to outside entities that may want to come in and be more investigative behind what it is they're doing with their platform. And a lot of this is because it can be deemed a threat to the financial systems in a lot of different ways. So how does it work? Well, it's interesting if you actually look at the history and some of the things that I've actually been privy to. This was set up a little bit differently in the beginning. There wasn't a BitConnect token until November, and so what you did before is you invested Bitcoin into the platform. In order to invest in the platform, you need to buy Bitcoin. You are going to use that Bitcoin to buy the BitConnect token, and this token is used in their lending platform for their volatility software. Here in Vietnam, we have several people that have become multimillionaires through BitConnect, and I've seen it firsthand. Now, you're going to start to see this spread a little bit more in some of the other countries as the platform grows and expands. You've seen the coin just explode in value. You're going to see it to continue to explode in value. One of the questions that came up quite a bit was, who the founder of BitConnect is. that was actually one of the questions that I asked, because you know, we've seen online that it was started in the UK by Ken Fitzsimmons. Now, the Ken Fitzsimmons moniker is much like a Satoshi Nakamoto. This is a placeholder. You know, there may or may not be a Ken Fitzsimmons in real life. But the question becomes a little bit more of, why is it that you are wanting that information? Is this for more personal, is this a personal thing that you're looking to understand just so that you have a reference, or is this more of a public issue where you're wanting to associate a name to the platform? Using the example of BTCE was shut down because they knew who the founder was and they were able to come after him. So BitConnect is going to protect themselves by remaining anonymous and keeping themselves in virtual offices. This is to protect the platform and protect their users who are invested in the platform. Because if you look at a platform like BTCE, there was a lot of people that lost a lot of money in that platform because of government intervention, and had nothing to do with the actual users that were invested in the platform, and they may or may not see any of that money back. BitConnect is going to remain anonymous to protect themselves from central failure, and central failure in the terms of government intervention. So, you know, if there was a founder of this currency, they can be subject to you know, harassment by government. Now, we've seen this with characters such as Craig Wright, who claims to be the inventor of Bitcoin. Now, when some of the information started surfacing in the public, and there was more and more information circulating that, in fact, Craig Wright may be the inventor of Bitcoin, what happened? They raided his house. They, you know, caused him a tremendous amount of grief by basically intruding on just about every aspect of his life. Some of the larger trading platforms like Poloniex and Bittrex have been able to remain safe from government intervention because they are dealing primarily in cryptos. They've been able to protect themselves from central failure, i.e. government intervention, by remaining in crypto, so they are not under the Money Act. So BitConnect is not going to expose themselves to unnecessary risk, and they were explaining why they're doing some of the things they're doing, and after extensive conversations with not only the people at the Bangkok meeting, but also here in Vietnam, I'm coming to realize that the reasons behind why they're doing what they're doing. So at the meeting, they outlined several risks. There were about 7 risks that they outlined for the platform associated with third-party trading. So the first risk they outlined, and probably the biggest risk, at least in my perspective, was government intervention. So government has the ability to come in and shut down exchanges if they have physical address of where the servers are located, and they have enough authority to come in and do so. And a prime example of that is what we saw in Russia with the BTCE exchange, where the United States came in and took over the exchange and shut it down. So the second risk they outlined was hacking. So hacking, any entity that's able to come in and gain access to the platform and either extract coins or just outright shut down the exchange. The other risk they outlined with third-party trading was gambling. So essentially, you can look at this as gambling. If you are investing in coins and they're either going up and down, some people can consider that gambling. Fourth risk they outlined was future options. So a prime example of this that we saw just recently was Bitcoin Cash. So a lot of people were betting on Bitcoin Cash, whether it was going to go up or down, before it was even available as a commodity to trade on the different exchanges. So the risk with these future options are essentially you could potentially over leverage yourself with a particular coin, and if it goes down in value, you're losing quite a bit of money. The fifth risk they outlined with third-party trading platforms was the system failure or data loss. So some sort of bug in the system, or the platform is just not performing well. This is very common in the tech industry. You're going to have times where you're going to have problems, you're going to have bugs, you're going to have data loss. You could potentially even see system failure. The sixth risk they outlined was a change in terms or service. So you've seen this with some platforms where they can just pretty much change their terms how they see fit. And if they change their terms, there's not as much that you can do in those situations. It is an inherent risk. And the last risk they outlined was essentially spying on trading bot or Autobot activity by some of the exchanges. And the example that was given was Bittrex, and Bittrex has actually or at least with what they've been telling us is that they've seen proof that Bittrex is actually spying on Autobot trading and different patterns with the trading, and they're using that information to actually put out some of their own trading strategies. Bittrex can manipulate the market quite a bit by putting in their own Bitcoin and profiting on some of these different trading strategies based on some of the information that they're able to get. BitConnect is planning to move their entire volatility algorithm based on some of these different risk factors. So now, when you're lending to the lending bots, you're actually lending to the volatility software platform. And the volatility software platform calculates the entire system. The volatility software manages all the public assets of the entire platform. Now, when you're lending to the volatility software, 100% of that is not going into a trading bot. And I think a lot of people, they want to see proof of the trading bot, they want to see the trading bot in action. And the BitConnect team is well aware of this. They're actually going to be a little bit more transparent here in the future. It sounds like at their annual event in October, they're going to actually be showing us the trading bot in action. So the way it works is when you invest into the volatility software, 50% of that fund is going to go into the trading bot, which is also connected into a reserve fund. So when that trading bot has an extremely profitable day, those profits are actually going to be going into a reserve fund for days when it's not doing as well. And that's how they're able to always turn a profit fund. That reserve fund is going to calculate profits and losses to actually protect itself from going negative. There's multiple ways that BitConnect makes money, and they are able to sell their own coins for profit on their own exchange. Now on the BCC exchange, people are always going to need the BitConnect token to put out loans. So the other 50% of the funds that are going into this volatility software are going into what they call a development fund. In this development fund, this is where they are going to be paying out the affiliate bonuses, and the payouts, the daily interest payouts are not coming from new investors, they're coming from the development fund. And like how can you do 30% interest in a month? It seems unreal, but actually if you're looking at some of the different cryptocurrencies, this is actually very common. So take Bitcoin for example. When it started off in 2010, it was not worth very much at all, and now you're seeing it over $4,000. Now that's about an 84-month span where you saw about 30% on average interest over that time span. So you can take other platforms like Ethereum, Monero, some of the different coins. 30% a month is not unrealistic, and so this is built into BitConnect's trading platform. It's built into their volatility software. It's built into their development fund. It's built into their reserve fund, and you can realize profits at a much larger scale when you're pooling funds as a group. 30% profit is not high profit. It's actually 30% a month is not really that unrealistic. And so for me, I needed to prove that for myself, and that was one of the reasons why I was recently in California developing trading bots. We built roughly about a dozen different trading bots that were doing about 3 to 4% interest a day. So it's not unrealistic. It's actually fairly easy. Anyone can actually go on and purchase Hozbot software and do it and try it out for themselves. You can develop some of these bots trading on different cryptocurrency pairs, and setting those bots up correctly, you can create a tremendous amount of wealth by cashing in on some of the different algorithms that were previously used on Forex exchanges that are now being applied to cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, the large percentage of people invested in cryptocurrency, about 70% of the market, owns about 30% of the crypto that's currently in circulation. This puts about 30% of the people that own about 70% of those cryptocurrency assets. So the 30% of the people that own most of the Bitcoin, this would be considered people that own more than 1,000 Bitcoin. And so for the vast majority of us, that is something that is not within our realms. That is, at this point, it's about $4 million, and there's not as many people in the cryptocurrency space that own $4 million in cryptocurrency. So they use some of these figures to explain why some of the larger investors, some of the people that own the most Bitcoin, are able to manipulate the market, and actually puts a lot of the users that are new to cryptocurrency in a little bit of a financial risk. This is something that I experienced as a trader, is that I was not dealing with very much Bitcoin, but I was experiencing quite a bit of loss at times because of different trading activity that was done on the markets that was completely out of my control. Now a lot of this is done through bot trading. A lot of it's done through different manipulation techniques, through pump and dump schemes. So the common people in the cryptocurrency space have a much more inherent risk at losing a tremendous amount of value in their cryptocurrency because of larger players in the market. This larger percentage of the market, the 70% of Bitcoin holders, this can be broken down into different exchange platforms, long-term coin holders that are offline. Now the government, also owns quite a bit of cryptocurrency. Silk Road is another example of platforms that were shut down. Where is that Bitcoin being held? Well, it's being held by government agencies. So again, we come back to the question of the truth about BitConnect. So is this a legitimate platform? Can I make money investing into a platform like this? And so, I've explained that I'm going to be posting some of the success stories of some of the people here in Vietnam that have been in BitConnect for over a year. There's inherent risk in everything that you're going to be doing, but this is a platform that has been extremely profitable, extremely successful for a very long time. It's been paying out for a very long time, and there's other platforms that are now starting to copy it. So if you needed to, you can diversify your funds by investing in some of these other high yield investment platforms. But I think what you want to really consider is to test out this software for yourself, investing just a little bit, and also finding others to connect with that can help navigate the platform for you as you're kind of going through this transitional process. Because for a lot of people, investing in cryptocurrency can be a little bit intimidating. They don't know enough about it, and it takes a little while, and it takes some experience to actually gain a little bit of confidence in the system. It would be worthwhile to invest a small amount, maybe just about $1,000 into the platform itself, test it out for yourself, get a BitPay card, take out cash, see the ability to take out funds from the interest payments instantly. I'm now currently traveling, with Bitcoin, and I'm making all of my purchases in Bitcoin through my BitPay card or through my Shift card. I'm trying to get a little bit more consistent with posting videos, but I have been traveling quite a bit. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Dislike if you didn't like it, and leave me some of your comments. Let me know how I can improve. So now I'm going to leave some links in the description below. You're welcome to try out the platforms for yourself. Connect with me on Facebook, connect with me on Instagram, connect with me on Twitter, connect with me on Steemit, and follow me on YouTube. I'm going to be posting some different updates. I'm going to try my best to respond to some of your questions. I am going to be traveling a little bit more, and networking with some of the other people that are involved in the space. So I ask that you have patience. You can send me private messages. I'm looking to help you through this journey. So hit the bell if you want to receive future notifications of when I'm posting videos online. I'm going to be trying to produce as much value and content as I can. I've seen this space really transform people's lives. People have quit their jobs. It's an entirely new world that we're living in, and I'm here to help you through this process.